most important thing to me about Rachel's Network is the network. It's not the work it's done. It's not the outreach programs. It's the fact that there is a good old girls network in place that is important, valuable, and strategic. I think that's a pretty good legacy.
Winsome graduated a degree in business, straight A's, the only woman in her class. And when she went to get a job, all that she could get was clerk in a department store. She decided to pass that up and become a stewardess for Pan Am. I met her on her first flight and convinced her to abandon Pan Am. And that was the beginning of our relationship. We raised 3 boys. She did most of the raising because I was on the road. Then she decided it was her time. She's set out to make a difference, and she has.
The first time she described Rachel's Network concept, we were in Seattle many, many years ago, and she laid out, the first stage of the business plan, the second stage, et cetera, et cetera.
She recognized that there was a need to have a group of peers who were committed funders on environmental issues, but who perhaps individually were not as effective as they might be on a collective basis. By growing one member or 2 at a time, she's been able to encourage each of us to achieve a higher potential than we might have had on our own.
She understands how women work, and she understands about female power and how we network together and how we move into areas that we're passionate about. So creating this organization to develop women leaders with the goal of placing us on boards and task forces and then allowing us to network back and forth with each other on the different areas that we're doing is just an amazingly powerful synergy that we have as a group of women. And it's a lot of fun.
She's great. I think we'd all say the same thing. She is a great mentor, and I think we all respect her a lot.
Her strength, being able to multitask as much as she does with Rachel's Network and the Family Foundation and the other commitments in her life.
She empowers you to do the work that she hired you to do, and then she shows her appreciation for it. And it in a way becomes your vision.
She's unflappable. She will be faced with a problem and won't display any trace of anxiety, just sort of addresses it head on and thinks methodically about what the possible avenues for working with this problem are. Also, never tires. This woman has a reserve of energy deeper than any undiscovered oil well out there in the world.
If there was a problem or a conflict, it just seemed to go very seamlessly. And you know that she was stressed out, or you would know what was going on the inside, and that didn't really show on the outside. Sometimes after a long day, she'd be like, boy, I need a drink.
She's a total lady. And then she'll send a kind of a funny joke out that we're all like, what? Did this really come from Winsome?
There aren't a lot of places where your boss, publicly thanks you for doing the job that you're supposed to be doing.
I hope to be a mother-in-law like her because just the lessons learned from her. She's involved when you need her to be involved, and she steps back when she feels like, she needs to step back. It's like I said, I'm very fortunate.
She really is the best. She's, to me, apart from my own mom, the best role model I could have in terms of growing up and learning and then hopefully passing on certain things.
She's so disarming and so likable, and she always makes you feel at ease.
And she will give her 2 cents appropriately and gently, and I have gotten some really good advice from her.
Well, Winsome is a dynamo. And when I think of Rachel's Network, of course I think of Rachel Carson, her writings that got me into the environmental movement a while ago. But I think we also have to remember how innovative Rachel Carson was, how courageous she was. New ideas, challenging authority, thinking ahead of the curve, thinking holistically. And when I think of Winsome and what she's built in Rachel's network, that's what comes to mind.
Winsome is a great strategic thinker. She is always looking at the organization, trying to figure out what its niche is and what its role is and how you can advance that in numerous ways.
She's looking not to set people against each other ever, but how do we all come together even when we have fairly different opinions at times? So, she really has a vision and then she's practical about getting there. And I think that's hard to find. Many people are either strategic or practical, and she combines both of those traits.
One of my favorite books is Good to Great. I like the book because it describes leaders in two ways. They are people, one, who have commitment and passion for their cause, but they also have great humility. And I think that's Winsome. She's more than willing to let other people have the limelight, but that doesn't change the reality. She is a great leader.
She learns how to speak other people's languages and how to bring them into coalition with each other. And that is just an amazing skill that not too many people have.
I think she truly understands what networks are there for, and I think she does understand the strength of a network as opposed to individuals. And I think she's really tried to build that in how Rachel's network operates and going into the future. So I think she's been a great leader for this organization.
And her ability to draw people in, she's enormously charismatic and presents an appearance of openness so that it's not difficult to approach her.
Well, I might say that she brings out the best in you. Instead of saying, go do this, she says, you can do this. You say, oh, I can? Well, okay, I'll try. I know in the worst days of my life, she was there, she and the staff, to take me through that. And she is just a very, very wonderful, warm person. And she can sort of sort things out for you if you're puzzled.
Totally committed to the development of the organization, to all of the areas that we're involved in. There's so many diverse interests related to the environment that we are each individually committed to doing. And Winsome embraces it all and supports us.
Well, she's probably the most disciplined person I've ever seen. When she believes in an idea, she will organize the forces behind it, and she's got a very engaging personality, too.
Winsome is a very generous person, a very kind-hearted person. I have never heard her say an unkind word about anybody.
You walk into the room and there may be 40 other people there, but she greets you as if you're the one she was waiting for. And of course, all 39 others were the ones she's been waiting for. But that doesn't, I mean, it's how she makes you feel. And that's what's important, and she has an amazing ability to do that.
She really is interested in people. Winsome wants to know who this person is and what they're interested in, and that makes her a very good people's person. But she also has, I think, a great sense of compassion and devotion to environment. Plus, she's such a nice person.
If Rachel's network is a group of impassioned women, Winsome is the lead impassioned woman. And it is that passion that has created and grown this organization. What I look most forward to is to have Winsome as a mentor. I've never had a mentor in my life, and I think that that's, I can't imagine a better person to, I'm just very lucky and looking forward to that opportunity.
She's going to surprise us again in her next successful endeavor because she is not finished. This is not the last thing she's going to do that's wonderful and amazing in her life.
If her life had taken a different course, I think she probably had the ability to be President of the United States. I'm glad that it didn't take a different course, because I'd probably still be wandering around in the wilderness. But I'm very proud of her.
Thank you, Winsome. Thank you for this opportunity for building this fabulous, beautiful organization this past decade. And I will strive to take it to the next vision that you have and that we all have together.